It is a pantheon of concrete and steel. It is a city that rises defiantly in the Delta, alongside the father of waters. It is the humidity of autumn evenings that drapes stately oaks and broad magnolias. It is haunted, and it is loud. It is Halloween night and cannon blasts. It is a Louisiana gumbo of humanity that cheers its tigers to victory and destroys the dreams of invading foes. The chance of rain is never. It is the cathedral of college football, and worship happens here, when the sun finds its home in the western sky. It is a field of glory, for sure, but much more than that. It is a sacred place. And it is Saturday night in Death Valley.
Oh yeah, 5-star LSU. I said they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey.
T.A. We're live, and Zach is lost at sea. Zach, where you at?
Bro, I'm in the middle of the Gulf right now.
Lost at sea. Lost at sea. That's where Zach's at. Well, vacation. But we still keep the episode rolling. Still got to keep it going. For a while, we thought I might be doing the show solo, bolo, but, you know, Zach got some internet connection on this ship of his.
Your boy paid for the premium.
Pay for the premium. It's better than his Wi-Fi at home, guys. It's literally better than his Wi-Fi at home.
Honestly,
I mean,
it's literally better. I mean, right now I have great connection. It's showing me that I have great connection
in the middle of nowhere.
Which is already better. I'm out in the dead gum ocean. There could be sharks like circling behind me.
I mean, what a view! What a view! It's pretty magnificent. I think I might shed a tear or something. I mean, I don't think we've had a better background than that right there. Holy smackaroonies. Zach, that
you got to step up your game, Reagan.
I know it. My little gray background. Yeah. Little sheet hanging over a like closet rack thing. So that's all it is. But Zach, every time I hear that you're not gonna fall, you got a barrier there. It shouldn't fall off. Every time I hear that intro, Zach, more and more I want college football to be here.
It's coming.
The more and more I'm ready for Tiger football at night in Death Valley. I mean, I'm pumped. I am through the moon about this upcoming season, to see the first season of Brian Kelly's era, and I'm excited about it. I know you are as well. But hey, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. SEC Media Days, the MLB Draft. We're going to start a new series, leading up to the football season. We're going to do some previews on the different position groups. So we're going to cover the special teams tonight a little bit. I give as much info as we have on it. I mean, there's not much, but
for real,
we'll cover what we can on it and who we think, maybe the starters. But we'll kick it off with the MLB Draft. And Zach, the Tigers came out on a really good side of the draft. I mean, really good. I mean, you took some losses, sure, and that was to be expected. But Zach, we came out on a positive side of the draft. So, I mean, what were your initial thoughts from who you saw went? Obviously, from the current team, you lost Jacob Berry, 6th pick. I mean, first of all, I guess we got to say congratulations to all the guys who got drafted for LSU. I mean, hats off to Jacob Berry, 6th pick of the draft, to the Marlins. Doty going to the Blue Jays, I believe early in the 2nd round. Raisel into the Yankees, and Gervais to the Mets. Best of luck to all of you guys in your future endeavors with the pros. We're super pumped for y'all, and we wish the best to you. So, Zach, obviously those 4 that I just named, you lost from the current team. You kind of expected that. My prediction almost came to pass. I mean, we literally thought it'd come to pass. My prediction was that obviously Barry Doty would go, and I said that Raiselman would go and Gervais would stay. Well, Gervais announced that he was staying and then got picked in the 17th round and retracted that statement and decided to go. Hate to see Gervais go. I mean, what an incredible young man he is. He's pretty pronounced about his Christian faith, and as a pastor, I can really appreciate that for him putting that out there. Seemed like a really, upstanding young man. And, of course, he played for LSU, and he was a great pitcher. And he came in and closed out in clutch moments. So best of luck to the Gervais as well. We hate to see you go. But, Zach, what are your initial thoughts here after the draft with those 4 gone? We'll get into some of the high school signees that we got to campus, big time players coming to campus, okay? And then, of course, Dylan to Brock and Jack Pineda, the transfers that had announced they were coming to LSU, got drafted and went. What are your initial thoughts coming off the draft?
I think what happened is kind of what we expected. We expected Jacob Berry to go. We expected Cade Doty to go, and obviously congrats to those guys. I don't think there was any Tiger fan that really realistically expected those guys to come back. And so you do lose some key pieces to your offense. But, I mean, with the guys you got back that are coming in the freshman class, I think it more than makes up for it. You hate to see Dylan to Brock leave, and you hate to see Jack Pineda leave, because those were 2 guys that you're really excited about coming out of the transfer portal. You don't get those guys, which some of that we kind of expected. But I think overall LSU fans have to view this as a positive. A lot of times, especially in the past years, you've seen guys like Gavin Guidry and Paxton Kling, they go to the MLB draft and they're staying. And those are 2 massive players that LSU will utilize next year, and guys that honestly will compete for starting positions on the field next year. And so I think overall it was a massive win for LSU. I think, obviously it hurts to see some of those guys go, but we expected that. And so I think when you look at the whole, LSU fans need to be more positive about this year.
Oh, I mean, without a doubt. I think it went about like we expected, but I think it went better than we expected as well.
Yep.
From a standpoint of the freshmen coming in, I would have loved to seen Brock and Pineda come to campus. Hate to lose them, but it is what it is. There was, a thought that they could definitely go, and they did go. But you have some pieces coming in that can fill in. I mean, immediately. I mean, replace those 2 guys that you lost in the transfer portal that you were, hoping maybe come to campus. But you got some guys in the high school class that you thought wouldn't make it to campus that did make it campus. You've already named one of them, Gavin Guidry, very well may compete for the starting shortstop position his freshman season. I mean,
Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year.
Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year, #1 player in the state. He is in the top 75 players in the nation. I mean, big-time recruit. and he can pitch as well. Kind of a two-way player. From his scouting report, he's a two-way player, and if you ever get in a tight spot, Gavin Guidry could be that guy if you need him. So I mean, he's huge get. I'll list some of the other big name players that made it to campus that are huge. I think the biggest one is Paxton Kling and Chase Shores. Those are the biggest. Paxton Kling is the 19th player ranked in the country. I mean, that is a guy you thought was absolutely going to the draft. And guys, I mean, I don't maybe too soon to make this comparison, but like you're getting somewhat of another Dylan Cruz coming to campus, like out of Paxton Kling. The dude can bat, and he's an elite not offensive outfielder. I mean, huge prospect, number one player in the state of Pennsylvania, 19 in the country. I mean, pretty excited about Paxton Kling, and I mean, from what we saw last year out of Josh Pearson, very well could be. Josh Pearson. I expect him to be the right fielder. Dylan Cruz obviously has his spot in center field. And we had discussed, okay, who's going to be the left fielder? Well, you got Dugas, who went undrafted, and I mean, Dugas he's either going to stay or he's going to transfer. I mean, you want to keep Dugas on with LSU as well. And you also talked about Trey Morgan possibly moving from first base out to left field. With Paxton Kling coming in, I don't know if I foresee that happening. I really don't. I do not. I had mentioned in the last, maybe it was last. I think it was last episode. If Pineda went, that the likelihood of Trey Morgan staying at first base went up. Well, Pineda went, so his likelihood of staying at first base went up there because, from the sound of it, Tommy wants to play a position, and if Pineda stayed, all three of those spots were kind of like, okay, Jordan Thompson, Carter Young, Jack Pineda, however order you want to put them, third, short, and second, there's three guys. Now you got two. But you also have Gavin Guidry coming in, so, maybe it's still the same. But with Paxton Kling coming in, the likelihood of him earning that spot out in left field, I mean, I would not be surprised if he was the everyday left fielder at all. Obviously, Gavin Dugas is no slack either. He is not the outfielder that Paxton Kling will be, but obviously Gavin Dugas 2 seasons ago hit 21 home runs. So maybe a DH role, but then you're like, okay, where are you going to put Joe Bear? This is the cards that Jay Johnson is being dealt. I mean, an elite outfielder coming in with this class, and Gavin Dugas and Joe Bear. Like, this lineup, like, there's more than 9 guys that could fit in this lineup so easily. I mean, it is going to be tough to fight for the spot. Say it again now.
Saying an abundance of riches.
It is an abundance of riches. Yes, it is an abundance of riches. So it is a good problem to have because you can put the best of the best out there. And Jay Johnson not too long ago said he wants championship caliber players at LSU. Dude, Gavin Guidry, Paxton Kling are 2 position players that are championship caliber players. Future is bright when it comes to LSU baseball, because I mean, you think of guys like Josh Stevenson, Josh Pearson, now Paxton Kling, Gavin Guidry. Like, we have an abundance of riches that are coming in. Now, we've discussed kind of the position, but when it comes to pitching, dude, Chase Shores and Jaden Newt, holy smokes. Chase Shores could very well, maybe not this season, but the next, be like your Friday night starter. Like, yeah, I mean, incredible stuff. Chase Shores, I don't know what his number was when it came to the money, but he did an interview with the local news station wherever he's in, like Midland, Texas, I think is what it is. And he said, I got on the phone call, teams were calling me. They didn't meet the numbers that I wanted when it came to the money amount, and so I pulled my name, and I'm a Tiger, dude. I don't know what his money amount was, but there was some teams I'm sure that was willing to pay some big money for Chase Shores to come.
Either way, LSU fans are thankful. Either way.
I mean, Zach. So that's the positive in I mean, not the positive in losing to Brock, but like you have Chase Shores coming in. You have Jaden Newt. Jaden Newt is the 33rd ranked player in the country, right? Chase Shores is like the 24th ranked player in the country. You have two pitchers within the top 35 players in the country coming to campus. Like it's massive. It absolutely huge to get Chase Shores and Jaden Newt. Both of those guys are going to be competing for starting roles sooner, more likely than later. Zach, what does that do for our pitching staff? I mean, we have Thatcher Hurd, we have Christian Little, we have Ty Floyd, we have Blake Money, we have Grant Taylor. Like last year, the struggle was starting pitching. Seems like we solved the issue. So what does that do for us to get these guys on campus?
Well, earlier you mentioned, Gavin Guidry being a two-way player, and if they need him to use him in a tight spot, you're not going to need him. I mean, I don't think you're going to need him because
unless in a relief position, maybe.
LSU's loaded up on really, really good pitchers, and they still have a lot of guys that are coming in from the class. I mean, they've got some dominant left-handers that are coming in. I'm just thinking of Griffin Herring right now.
Griffin Herring.
Yep. They've got – So, and I don't know if he's decided yet if he's staying, right?
Yes.
Or is he not
yes, Griffin Herring is coming. Yep.
I'm pretty sure he decided already that he's coming. So
yes, he is.
That's a name we haven't mentioned, and Griffin Herring's a really good pitcher. That pitches from the left side. So I don't think they're gonna need Gavin Guidry to pitch. They've got a couple of skilled position players that are two-way guys that can pitch and field. But with the class that you're bringing in pitching wise, and with the guys that you went and got in the transfer portal, those guys that you went and got in the transfer portal, they're no slouches. I mean, they're big time pitchers. You got UCLA's ace Thatcher Hurd. You got a guy that was competing for a starting rotation in Christian Little. You got big time players coming in as well from the transfer portal to add to these pitchers that are coming in as freshmen. So LSU addressed the biggest need on the team. And so, I think it's massive. Yes, you lost Dylan to Brock, and it would have been awesome to have him. And it was great to have him on the show and interview him. But I think he did what he had to do was best for him and his career. So I think LSU is going to be just fine at pitcher. I'm not worried about it at all. I have to agree.
Yeah, I so here's another thing. We got a guy named Alex Milazzo who is an elite defensive catcher. Elite. Now, the bat we know for sure is not always there. If we could get consistency out of him, at the bat, you'd love to see him behind the plate. But boy, oh boy, Zach, Brady Neal, Jared Jones, two top 50 players in the country, both catchers, both the number one catchers in their respective states. Brady Neal, the number one catcher in the state of Florida. Jared Jones, or Bear Jones, number one catcher in the state of Georgia. Brady Neal is the best catcher recruit to make it to campus in a long time. A long time. Honestly, and this is just my opinion, I'd never have seen LSU's catcher position just be elite. Honestly, I think the last guy I can think of that was just really, really good, Michael Papierski. But I mean, you think back through the line. I'm thinking of guys like Cade Skivick, like they were guys that were good catchers. They were good college catchers. I wouldn't say elite has LSU's catcher play has not been like top notch. Brady Neal is a guy that can come in and offer that. I mean, and I think Jay Johnson wants that because he had that in Arizona in Daniel Suzak. who was a first-round pick in this year's draft. Daniel Suzak was an incredible catcher, and he could hit. Guess what? Brady Neal is a great catcher, and he can hit the ball. And, I mean, and Bear Jones is nobody to look over either. Dude's the 47th ranked player in the country. So, dude, there may be some competition at the catcher position. So, abundance of riches may be an understatement. I mean, he's got a handful. I mean, it's going to be awesome.
Well, he's building a foundation for the years to come. I mean, he has set LSU up to be elite on the field. He set LSU to be up to be elite hitting. He set LSU up to be elite at the catching position, and he's starting to build a foundation for LSU to be elite at pitching as well. Now you still that's all got to still translate to the field. All these top talented guys, it's still got to translate to the field. But I definitely have confidence in Jay Johnson. And so, so far what we've seen, I have to agree with you. It's abundance of riches may be an understatement because it's very impressive what he's done right now.
Zach, is Jay Johnson done in the portal? I think you know more about this than I do. Is he done in the portal?
He's not done working, that's for sure. He's still going after guys and some big names.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't expect Jay Johnson to still be competing for top guys in the transfer portal. I know the biggest name.
Are we talking position or pitcher?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
And from what I know, LSU is in the mix with two other SEC schools for one of the top transfers in the country. I think everybody knows what we're talking about. So we'll see if they can finish there. Hurston Waldrop hasn't announced yet, has he?
Hurston Waldrop? Yes, he's going to Florida.
He's going to Florida. Okay. I thought he announced, but I was double-checking on that.
Yes, he's going to Florida.
Hurston Waldrop is going to Florida, but, Jay, I know that, a lot of LSU fans wanted him, but there's some big-time players that are still available in the transfer portal that LSU's going after still.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, I know of some arms that haven't announced that I can think of off the top of my head that are big-time players at their past schools, and they're still in the portal. But look, needless to say, I think Jay Johnson came out on the positive side of this draft because I don't think you expected Chase Shores, Gavin Guidry, Paxton Kling, Brady Neal to make it to campus, and they're here, and you got them for 2-3 years, most of them for 3 years. So I'm absolutely pumped about this coming year. LSU, I mean, they're going to probably be preseason one in a lot of polls. They're already projected to be in Omaha. They're the favorites. Are we going to live up to the hype? Are we going to live up to the hype is the question. And there's no doubt it's exciting. A lot of expectation, but it's exciting. All right, we got to move forward because we're already a little bit over, Zach. And we got some stuff to cover in the SEC Media Days. Brian Kelly was there day one. Zach, what did you watch? Were you able to watch Brian Kelly's press conference? What was kind of your take from it?
I got to watch both of them. Yep.
Good. Okay. So what was your take?
So I got to watch both of his press conferences, and I got his sit down one, and I think the main one that he did at the beginning, and then I got to watch the three players do their press conferences, and from Brian Kelly, I really enjoyed what he said. There was nothing that threw me for a loop or that I didn't like. What I like is that he's honest. He's still mentioning that, hey, I'm still getting to know my players. Right now, I don't know them. I'm still getting to know them. We're still building relationships. I like that he was honest about the spring. He said we used the spring to install the offense. And so when it comes to the quarterback race, it seems like he's telling us that is going to be decided in fall camp, because he basically told you that. And he also made it pretty clear in my mind on the guys that they are circling to play that position, to play the court, to be QB1. They want somebody that's mobile. They want that. He made that pretty clear in his press conferences.
Yeah,
Now
I
I
was
will
about to say, what did you think about that? Because some people were saying, "Oh, he kind of nodded Nussmeier a little bit." So, I mean, do you think he nodded a little bit to Nussmeier, or was it just a?
I,
I
I
mean, what
think he
was?
nodded a quarterback type that
Yeah,
he wants. In which we've seen that. It's needless to say, but we've seen that mentioned. Or we've seen what he did at Notre Dame, and at Notre Dame he had the most
yeah,
success with mobile guys. And you know that everybody on the roster, minus Miles Brennan, is that. We don't expect Walker Howard to play this season. So you know, it goes back to kind of what we talked about in the spring. It feels like this race is between Garrett Nussmeier and Jaden Daniels. But, Reagan, I don't think anybody really knows who's going to be a starter. And I think, honestly, this could go into the season. I ultimately think that Garrett Nussmeier is going to be the guy at the end of the day. I personally
really.
want Jaden Daniels to be I want Jaden Daniels to be the guy. But I think Garrett Nussmeier ends up being the guy at the end of the day, and he has the higher ceiling. I think that's pretty safe to say between the two other guys. I think Garrett Nussmeier has a higher ceiling than Jaden and then Miles Brennan. But I really have no clue. I mean, we've heard what he said, but I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if Miles Brennan comes out there against Florida State and he takes the first snap. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. In fact, that could very well happen. You may see all three guys playing at Florida State. I don't know. And, I know I have a little bit of a different take than some people do. Some people want to have a guy that is solidified, heading out of fall camp and heading into the season so that team chemistry can be built. And I completely understand that. But I love that there is a major competition that is building all three of these guys to be the best, the best version of them. That's what I love about it. So, I enjoy what Brian Kelly said. There also was some just really stupid questions that were asked of him.
That's what I was about to say. It seems like he's continued to be mocked a little bit. I don't understand that. I mean, what did you think about and SEC Network put up the whole elite TikTok dancer thing, and they asked him about his accent. I'm like, all right, come on.
Well, one of the dumbest things they asked him about, they asked him about Notre Dame 2 or 3 times that were specifically Notre Dame questions. I'm like, Brian, and he basically said it. He's like, I'm going to worry about what I'm doing right now. I'm at LSU.
I'm the coach at LSU.
I'm going to worry about my job at LSU. I'm not going to worry about Notre Dame because I think they asked him, about I think the expansion and what league or what conference Notre Dame would join.
Notre Dame, yeah. It's like
they asked him all kinds of. They asked him 2 or 3 questions that were Notre Dame related, and I'm like,
seriously,
why?
Yeah.
Ask Freeman this. No one cares, So about BK answering this, and they did the same thing with the players. There was one Texas A&M guy that asked all 3 of the LSU players about Max Johnson. Bro, this is an LSU press conference. We don't care what they are going to say about Max.
He's gone.
He's gone. Bro, ask. There was that was one of the dumbest things that I saw or that I listened to at SEC Media Days was that one reporter from Texas A&M asking all 3 of the LSU players the exact same question. What do you think about Max Johnson? No, he used to play with him. Blah blah. Dude, no one cares. No one cares about that. Ask the LSU players about LSU. Ask Brian Kelly about LSU. We don't care. They're not at SEC Media Days to address Notre Dame and Texas A&M. They're at SEC Media Days to address LSU.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, those were some major things that I took from it. And now, I think probably my most favorite thing that I took from it, Reagan, was the interview with Jack Besh. One of the reporters asked him about NIL and how it was affecting the egos and the person, the vibe in the locker room. And I think Jack Besh answered it professionally. And I think he also gave us an answer that, in my opinion, LSU fans wanted to hear. What I wanted to hear is that it's not affecting them at all. It is it's not a problem. Personality wise, guys aren't worried about who's making how much money, and if that one's making more than me, and if that one's got more NIL deals than me. He said that he made it very clear that was not a problem at all. He said that's not talked about, it's not discussed, it is not a problem at all. And I think that was huge because, especially in today's day and age with NIL, it was something that I thought of. It honestly was something that I thought of. Like, are players going to get upset? Is there going to be some problems in the locker room because certain players are getting certain deals and certain players are making X amount of money more than another player?
We saw it last year.
So yeah, exactly. So
we saw it last year.
It was kind of a calm to that storm with him answering that way and hearing that, which was really encouraging to me.
Absolutely. And I was overall I think I was the takeaway for it. I don't know if this is a takeaway, but I just enjoyed listening to a coach laying out what he was doing, laying out his plan. It was competent. I wasn't worried about some antic that was going to go on or something crazy that was going to be said or off the wall. It was professional. It was business, and he answered the questions, and it was awesome. Honestly, it was awesome to not have to worry about, hey, please don't make a fool out of LSU, right? So that was pleasing to me. I didn't appreciate the continuing of the mocking of Brian Kelly. I don't get that. The dude's one of the top 5 coaches in all of college football, winningest active coach in college football. Ask the dude about what he's doing with his new program and the resources that he now has and all these things. Quit asking him about his darn accent or his dance or come on, it's SC Media Days. Let's talk about football here. Let's talk about what he's doing with his team. Eventually that will end, though, because Brian Kelly's going to win a whole lot of football games and people are going to have a lot more respect for him. But he's going to win a lot of football games in the SEC, and those stupid questions won't continue to happen. There's some other things I want to talk about in the SEC Media Days, though, Zach. What do you think about Lane Kiffin's comment on NIL? You're legalizing cheating. You're cheating. You just made cheating legal. Tell me what you thought about it. That's what I thought.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong, right?
You legalize cheating.
But context is obviously massive. So the context is he's whining about it.
Gosh,
he's not wrong. So, but Lane Kiffin continues to be Lane Kiffin, man. Do we expect anything less of Lane Kiffin? We know about his antics on Twitter, and it didn't. It's not surprising. It's Lane Kiffin being Lane Kiffin at SEC Media Days. It wasn't surprising at all. When I saw that, I was like, okay, all right. Lane Kiffin.
I think that's the reality. If I'm Ole Miss fans, that bothers me. If I'm an Ole Miss fan, that bothers me, honestly, because number one, if you're doing well in NIL, you're not saying crap like that. So what that tells me is he's getting beat.
He's behind.
Yep. He's getting beat, and he don't like it. And
it's Ole Miss. I hate to be blunt, but it's Ole Miss. You're going to lose to schools like A&M, LSU, Alabama, Georgia. You're going to lose. It's just the reality of Ole Miss being Ole Miss. They're in Mississippi. It's hard to recruit in Mississippi with so many schools coming into Mississippi and pulling guys out of the state. We live in Mississippi. We know this. We know this almost as well as Ole Miss and Mississippi State fans do.
Yeah.
So, and he knows it too. He's not oblivious to that. So, I have to agree. It's him showing his hand and showing what's really happening behind the scenes with Ole Miss.
Yeah, living in Mississippi, there's guys that want to go play. Like when it comes to LSU and Louisiana, like there's some pride with Louisiana. Like there's this, man, I want to go put on for Louisiana. I'm going to go play for LSU, right? There's guys that are like that. It just ain't like that in Mississippi. Like I don't know many guys that are like, man, I'm going to go put on for Mississippi, right? Like we lived in Mississippi, like you said. Like I've never heard that, and it's never been a thing of pride, a sense of stateship. Man, let's put on for Mississippi. So there's guys plucked out of there all the time. I mean, Deion Smith was one of the best receivers in the class last year. Or 2 years ago, excuse me, and he was in Mississippi. He came to LSU, right? Like, and then you're also competing with another in-state SEC team. Like you got to compete with Mississippi State to get Mississippi guys. So it definitely kind of showed that he's whining a little bit. Reality is he wanted the LSU job, he wanted the Miami job, he wanted the Florida job, so he could use NIL to his advantage. And I just think the whining was a little bit weak. I don't know. I don't know about you, but my thought on it is like suck it up and do what you do, grow the players you get, develop the players you get, and quit whining about it. Like it's the world we live in. And we legalize cheating? Not really. I mean, the cheating, it's not cheating anymore. He said you legalize cheating. Well, that's not cheating anymore. So you can't say it's legalized cheating when it is like a law now, right? Like it's a rule.
I mean, yeah, it's not cheating now, but I mean,
you could play players
like beforehand. It was cheating,
sure,
but now it is legal. So I mean, I get what he's saying, in that aspect. But yeah, I have to agree. I think it's mostly just whining.
Like quit your belly aching, dude. Like grow up and like you're a coach in the SEC. Like why are you up here whining? Like you need to be out there proving yourself rather than whining. Like as an Ole Miss fan, that would bother me so much. Huh? Say it again.
That's what I'm saying. Like go to work, man.
Go to work.
If you know you're
exactly.
Behind, if you know you're getting beat, then go to work. Don't whine about it on stage.
Yeah. I'm sorry to all the Ole Miss fans, but as soon as there's a bigger opportunity out of that guy's probably gone. Let's just put it out there how it is. I mean, that's probably the reality. All right, some other things in the SC Media Days. Zach, Mike Leach is just a character, bro. I mean, I don't even. I'm gonna tell you right now, I would never in a million years want Mike Leach to be my head coach. I feel bad. Okay, like the antics, like it's funny. It's funny, but like I would never in a million years want him to be our head coach. Like never. Like as a State fan, I'd just be like, oh God. Like walks out there and he's like, I hate opening statements. Y'all got any questions? Like it's just like, what do we do?
Well, I mean, like at Washington State when he was winning, it makes it better and everybody enjoys it. But at Mississippi State, he hasn't done so well, here early in these first few years. We'll see how this year goes, though, Reagan. Will Rogers Jr. Will Rogers is a beast, man. They're bringing like everybody back. This is going to be State's year to make a move in the SEC and to get some wins that people don't expect to.
8-4-75.
Is that bad? I think that's a pretty good. If they go 8-4, that's
but that's like every single year for Mississippi State. That's like as a State. Okay, I'm picking on them, but as like State fans,
they kind of have to expect that though.
Like, God, why are you even a fan, bro? You like the best you get is 9 wins. The best season they ever had was with Dak Prescott, and they were bursting at the seams, and then they choked at the end, like got clapped by Georgia Tech, and it's just like, golly, I don't know. I would want to go out and get like this elite coach, but I guess you just can't expect that with Mississippi State. You can't just go out there to pluck like a Brian Kelly to Mississippi State.
The resources aren't there. The resources aren't there for them or Ole Miss. I mean, you have to have a lot of things come together for Ole Miss or State to win a natty and compete at that level in football.
Yeah.
You got to have a lot of things come together for them, and it's extremely hard for guys like Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach. But I think Mike Leach is handling it, a lot better than Lane Kiffin is.
True. That's true. He's not whining about NIL. So, Zach, last thing from SEC Media Days that I definitely wanted to talk about. Former Tiger Elias Ricks was mentioned by his new head coach, Nick Saban. Not very much in a positive light. It was I'm paraphrasing, so don't quote me on this. But essentially, Nick Saban said, "Hey, Ricks is a great player, but he needs to know what we're about here at Alabama and why." And it was like, whoa, okay. And I mean, let's be honest. I don't know. I feel like we saw some of that at LSU. I mean, I said earlier, we saw some of that last year. I mean, that was Elias Ricks, bro. I mean, Derek Stingley was getting NIL deals left and right, and Elias Ricks was left out. And honestly, he was pissed about it. He was like, why am I not getting NIL deals? And honestly, I get, like, if Elias Ricks stayed, that's awesome. He's a big-time player. But if your attitude is all about me, I want NIL money, why am I not getting NIL money? And you're not here for the team, like, I don't know. I'd rather him be at Alabama because apparently he's competing for his spot against Kool-Aid and Kyrie Jackson anyway. So what do you think about Nick Saban saying that? I mean, I just feel like it kind of shows his character a little bit.
Well, it wasn't surprising, Reagan, because we saw a lot of that whenever he was at LSU. And that, honestly, Reagan, that is the major downside to NIL, and that's why I emphasized the Jack Besh interview and the statements that he made about the locker room and about guys not caring. Because previously, under the last staff, that was a problem.
It's a problem.
It was very clearly a problem. That was a problem. Discipline was a problem, and so. Unfortunately, that has carried over with him to Alabama, as Nick Saban has kind of made it known, thrown it in there a little bit. But I'm always going to root for a player, and so I hope things that he can kind of get those things straight and get his head on his shoulders and kind of get focused on what the main goal is, and that's to go out and be the best version of yourself on and off the field, and play as well as he can to get into the NFL. Now, hopefully, I hope he doesn't play as well as he can against LSU. But
I'm trying to see Kayshawn burn him up, or Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, I kind of want to see
Malik Neighbors.
I kind of want to see a snapshot of
when Jamar Chase.
Diggs, yes, and then put another snapshot of this year.
It'd be so sweet.
It'd be awesome if it was I know it's gonna be in Baton Rouge this year, but it'd be awesome if it was the same exact play, just throw it up and he goes to Moss's it and walks into the end zone, and Rick's
Gritty's on.
This sounds bad. I know we're hating on it. We're not hating on him, but
that'd be awesome though,
Bama, man.
Bro.
Bama.
Of all places. All right. We're going to hit a quick break here, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss our special teams preview for this upcoming season. So, yeah, man, we got 3 comments in here. Y'all get in here if y'all are watching. Throw some comments in. We like to interact with y'all. We like to discuss with y'all and include y'all into the show. So throw some comments in there, and we may get to them as well when we get back. All right, we'll see you right after this.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. 5-Star Hero. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
All right, Zach, we get to talk about some more football.
Let's
Guys,
go. I'm excited, man.
Football
It's
is
around
close.
the corner, bro.
Bro, it cannot get here soon enough. It can't get here
Go.
soon enough.
Come on.
Tiger Den Sports, college football can't get here soon enough. I got to agree more. I couldn't agree anymore. I wish it was next weekend. I wish it was this weekend.
I'm so pumped, bro.
Tomorrow. Florida State opening game in the Superdome. That's going to be so exciting. So until then, we want to cover, the position groups. We want to give you our thoughts on the different position groups and who we think is going to be, playing some key roles, who's going to be starters, all of those great things. So we're going to start with the special teams. I mean, obviously, special teams isn't, the highlight of everybody, what they're talking about. So that's where we're going to start with it. It's still a very important thing to talk about because, I mean, we just lost Cade York, probably the best kicker, one of the best kickers in LSU history, if not the best. So you got some holes to fill because also Avery Atkins is gone, the guy who kicked him off and punted. So there's holes to be filled. See, BK Takeover says Zach needs to do his I'm on a boat impression before y'all head out tonight. I don't know what that means. What is that? I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat.
I'm on a massive boat.
Cruise
I'm on
ship.
a massive boat. I don't even know if y'all can look at this. It's just straight ocean, y'all.
If you drop your laptop, hey, bro, yo, no way, bro. I never. Your camera. Hey, chill out. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. Danger.
Oh man,
I never in my life would I trust myself to do that. Holy cow.
Go watch my Snapchat, Reagan, bro. I freaked Reagan or Sierra and Simon out.
Golly.
And then he was like, Simon, he was like, be careful. And then I held it over and I started filming the bottom and I was like, oh! And Reagan went, it was so funny, bro.
Oh man, you're more brave than I am, that's for sure. All right, Zach. I guess we can start with punter. So we got two pretty big punters, Zach. Peyton Todd, Jay Bramlett. Peyton Todd was the number one punter in the country in the class of 2021. Jay Bramlett was the number one punter in the country in the class of 2019. Obviously, Jay Bramlett signed to Notre Dame. The kind of cool tidbit about Jay Bramlett is he is the number one punter in the country. He's from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Why did he not go to Alabama? That's what I want to know. Like, why was he not being recruited as a number one punter in the country, as bad as Alabama's special teams has been sometimes? Like, what are we like? Come on, Alabama. And he was also their starting quarterback and a great pitcher. Like, so you can use him. Like, he could be like in a fake play. The dude's thrown the ball in football games before. Like, anyways, the fact that he went up from Tuscaloosa to South Bend blows me away. But he transfers and he comes and follows Brian Polian, LSU's new special teams coordinator, to LSU. We're glad to have both of them. Zach, word on the street is Peyton Todd can punt the ball really stinking good.
Yes.
But Jay Bramlett has the experience. Obviously, like I just said, he played football. He played quarterback. Maybe you could do some things with him on special teams, some trick plays, whatever it may be. Who do you think gets the nod there?
I think Jay Bramlett is going to get the nod because of the experience. I mean, I don't think Brian Kelly brings over his three-year starter at Notre Dame to come and ride the bench. So I do think Jay Bramlett is going to be the primary starter. But listen, Reagan, as you said, Peyton Todd can boom it. And I think, if you get in a situation where you're backed up and you need to boom one and reverse the field, put Peyton Todd in there. Jay Bramlett is more of a precision guy. He can pin the offense deep against their own goal line, and sideline to sideline is very accurate in where he needs to place the ball. But if you need to get out of a jam, out of your own end zone, put Peyton Todd out there so he can boom one because he's got a massive leg, right?
Yeah.
And So I mean, I don't think it's a problem if you put him in there, but it's all going to depend on who they trust the most. You know, who's taking the snap the best, and obviously bringing in a guy like Jay Bramlett, who has a 3-year experience at Notre Dame. You know, he's going to be the guy.
Yeah, I mean, Jay Bramlett obviously wasn't there for the spring game yet. I got to agree. I think Bramlett's going to be the guy. 3 years experience. I mean, he came down here with the special teams coordinator. I think that kind of gives you a tip to what it's going to be. I'm pretty sure Peyton Todd took a red shirt anyway, so it's like he's a freshman this year. So if this is Jay Bramlett's last year, I'm pretty sure. I think it is at least. You know, that's 3 years that Peyton Todd has to punt at LSU, right? And if let's say Jay Bramlett uses a COVID year, let's say he still has that year, that's still 2 years for him, for Peyton Todd to kick. But hey, I mean, look, you got to compete for the spot. And Jay Bramlett may come down here and that, you know, we don't know the conversations they've had with coaches. We don't know what's been said. He may come down here understanding, hey, the spot is not guaranteed, right? Like, you may have to beat this kid out. And from all understandings, like you said, Peyton Todd can flip the field. Let BK Takeover kind of put that, yeah, Todd can flip the field. Like, I mean, if he can flip the field, that's, I mean, possession, right, is like where you start on the field is a big part of the game. And if you need to get it out of there, Peyton Todd may be your guy. But just from all things, considering Brian Poliancombe, the experience Jay Bramlett has, it'll probably be Jay Bramlett, and I think he'll do just fine as well. I'm not saying he can't get far, because I'm pretty sure he can if he's a 3-year starter over at Notre Dame. So I'm gonna agree with you there for Jay Bramlett. So next would be the place kicker, and this is going to be a big hole to fill. I mean, Cade York was LSU's leading scorer like last season, and is probably the best place kicker LSU's had in their entire history of college football, or of them playing football. So big shoes to fill. Now you got this kid named Damian Ramos, and I looked on this kicking site. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was I can't remember, like Chris Sales Kicking or something like that. And it's a recruiting site for kickers, because I mean, kickers, special teams specialists are not, you know, the big time recruited players. And this guy's scale was like 6 stars, and 6 stars meant he was a Power 5 starting kicker. Like freshman year, he's going to start as a Power 5. Ramos was a 5-star, which was a Power 5 kicker. Maybe not freshman year kicker, but he was a kicker. He was here last year. He redshirted, so he's a redshirt freshman coming in. He kicked a little bit in the spring game, did fine. I read the little article on the page about him. It said he can hit it from like 55. So I mean, he's got range from what that site said. But Nathan Dibert coming in is a guy who was highly recruited as well. 247 had him as the 6th ranked kicker in the country. Cole's Kicking had him as the 2nd ranked kicker in the country. And Cole's Kicking is a little bit bigger of a site than whatever I was reading before. But and he also went and competed in this national kicking competition and won it. So, I mean, honestly, I don't know. If I had to give a nod, I would say Nathan Dibert is your guy. Of course, he wasn't here till the summertime either, because he was a 2022 class commit. So that is definitely going to be an interesting thing to watch and to look for in fall camp and at the start of the season, because that is a big question mark for me. Like, who's going to take over? Is it going to be the true freshman? Is it going to be the redshirt freshman? Because that's really what you got. I mean, other than those 2 guys, you have Trey Finson, who is a preferred walk-on transfer from Northwestern State. So it's either probably going to be Ramos or Dibert. So I don't. If I had to say somebody, I would say Dibert. Zach, that's just who I'm going to go with.
You also have Ezekiel Mata as well. You know, he transferred in from California. So
Sure.
there's 4 guys. There's 4 guys that can kick the football as place kickers. And I think part of the reason, and this we can lead into this, is because one of those guys is going to be specifically a kickoff specialist. They've had it really. LSU has had it great with special teams these past few years with Cade York, and you're not going to replace
Avery Atkins. Avery Atkins is about a guaranteed touchback every time.
Every time. So I think the reason you see this many guys is because you're going to have a kickoff specialist, and you're going to have somebody that's going to be specifically for kickoff duties. And I have to agree with you. I think Nathan Dibert, however you want to phrase it,
kicking your field goal
out.
Yeah.
I think he's going to – because, dude, I don't know if you've seen, but that dude has massive thighs. I mean, yeah.
Pause.
Pause. But the dude has massive thighs. Like, I expect him to be able to boom it. And that's what you need. You need somebody that can kick the football very accurately and who can kick it at long distances. And I think Nathan fits that mold the best out of all those 4 guys. I think somebody like Ezekiel Mata or Fenson will probably be your kickoff specialist. Because I think they want to have somebody that strictly does that, so where the place kicker can strictly just worry about kicking the football through the goalpost. So I think I have to agree with you there, but I think a reason that you see all those 4 guys is because you're going to have 2 different guys doing the 2 different things as place kicking and kickoff specialists. Now,
one thing I will point out when it comes to special teams, for a long time, for whatever reason, the quarterback was he was the guy who held the field goal, right? Took the snap, placed it. That's kind of going to the wayside in football. You kind of want a specialist doing those special things, right? You don't want to take your quarterback away from practice to practice that, right? Like, have another specialist
and to risk injury.
And risk, yes. Yeah, I mean, I never. Now looking back at that, I'm like, why did football ever do that, right? Like, I just, but I that's kind of going to the wayside, and specialists are the guys who are going to do it now. And I think the guy who would do it is definitely Jay Bramlett for LSU, because the dude played, as I mentioned earlier, played quarterback where he was at high school, and he's thrown a football in game, right, in football before. So, if you ever want to run a trick play or whatever, you can do it with Jay Bramlett. What was BK taking over saying? Even a chicken has massive. On them,
bro. I got okay legs. I'm not gonna lie. Like, my calves, they're not massive. They're not massive, but they're they're all right.
Yeah. Zach. Lastly, I don't think this is up for much debate. I think Slade Roy is your long snapper. The transfer from East Carolina.
Not that hardly at all.
Right. Now, I will say this interesting little factoid, for like, how many years? Was it like 8 years or so? The Ferguson guys were doing it.
The Ferguson.
Is that correct? Blake and Reed.
Yeah.
There is a new long snapper on the team. He's not related to them, but his name is Jonathan Ferguson. So, wow. Slade Roy, whenever Slade Roy, if he finishes, if Jonathan Ferguson's got, we need to continue
the legacy.
We need to continue this. When I saw that, I was like, oh shoot, is this like a cousin? Is this like what is this? Who is this? And we looked it up. He was from California. I was like, nah, that's no way. But that would be awesome. Just the storyline of the. I mean, they're two pro long snappers that came out of LSU. We have the DBU, wide receiver U. LSU is LSU. Long snapper U.
LSU is LSU. Really now? I didn't know.
The transfer from East Carolina, Slade Roy, is going to be your guy there. So that pretty much wraps it up for special teams, not the most exciting discussion. We're going to get into discussion of all the things you want to talk about. But you got to talk about
who's going to be your return specialist, Reagan.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. I mean, well, punt specialist return.
I fully expect
Chris Hilton
to receive punts.
Yeah,
and I believe there's going to be 2 running backs on kickoff returns. I think Josh Williams will resume his duties as a kickoff returner, and I think somebody like Trey Bradford, Armani will be on the other side.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think Chris Hilton it fits the bill for it, right? He's kind of that lean, speed type of receiver. So BK Takeover said Ibieta, maybe so.
I've thought about Ibieta. He's come to my mind, but I don't know if he'll be the guy. We'll see.
True freshman, maybe not, but Chris Hilton, the whole thing with him is speed kills. So that may be the perfect spot for him to replace Trey Palmer.
Brian Polian has mentioned that they're going to put their best guys out there. Like, it's not going to be them putting in scrubs and walk-ons. They're gonna put
the best
skill position players that
good
that are athletes. Like, I expect somebody like Harold Perkins to be on specials teams. I do.
Yeah.
Mike Jones, somebody like
Greg Penn, to be on
Greg Penn. I expect guys that are the future of LSU, guys that may even be, vying for a lot of playing time to be on special teams, because Brian Polian has made that known.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, I think that's a wrap for this show. We'll hit a quick break and then come back and wrap it all up. Appreciate y'all coming on. BK Takeover there for coming on and commenting and your interaction. All right, we'll hit a quick break and we'll wrap it up right after this.
Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue, for daily updates on the show and all things LSU sports. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right, guys, that's it for tonight's show here in the Tigers Avenue. We appreciate you coming on and joining in. We're going to continue this series of previewing the position groups here leading up to the football season. We're excited about the first year in the Brian Kelly era. So we're going to talk all things, all positions leading up to that. And so we're super excited about that. We'll keep pumping out these episodes, though, every Friday. Here soon, when it gets to fall, we're probably going to go back to 2 episodes. So be looking for that. As of right now, kind of in the down period, we're doing 1 episode a week. So be looking for when we go back to 2 episodes. If you weren't able to watch or listen, if you want to just listen, your preferred podcast down here. And if you want to go back and watch, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter as well. We'll catch you next time here in the Tigers Avenue. 5-Star Hero, take us out. Peace.
Who that 5-star? Who that 5-star? And the LSU Tigers.